Hey everyone, welcome to the very first real episode of our big history journey. Imagine a time over 5,500 years ago. No cities, no countries, no books, no internet, nothing we know today. And then, suddenly, in the hot plains between two rivers in modern Iraq, a group of people did something no one had ever done before. They built the world's first true cities and invented writing. Their name? The Sumerians. Today, you'll discover how a handful of farmers turned into the people who basically started everything. So grab something to drink, get comfortable, and let's travel back to around 3500 BC. The land of Sumer was in southern Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. Every year these rivers flooded and left behind super fertile mud, perfect for growing wheat and barley. Because food became easy to grow, people didn't have to hunt or move all the time anymore. They started living in one place, and those villages grew and grew, until one of them, a place called Uruk, had more than 50,000 people. That's bigger than most European towns 4,000 years later. Sumerians built giant mud brick temples called ziggurats, like stepped pyramids with a shrine on top. The biggest one in Uruk was almost the size of a football field and 7 stories high. Each city had its own god and its own king-priest. Cities like Uruk, Ur, Lagash, Kish, they all competed with each other, fought wars, made alliances, exactly like countries do today. So yes, Sumerians basically invented the idea of a city-state. Around 3400 BC, something unbelievable happened. People started pressing wedge-shaped marks into wet clay tablets with a reed stick. We call this cuneiform, from Latin cunus, shaashinus, wedge. At first, they just drew simple pictures. A head meant person, a star meant god, a grain meant barley. But very quickly, they realized they could use signs for sounds too. That meant they could write any word, even names. Suddenly you could write down how much grain someone owed, send a letter to another city, record laws, write poems and myths. One of the oldest stories ever written is the Epic of Gilgamesh, a Sumerian superhero king who fought monsters and searched for immortality. It's basically the first novel in human history, written 1,500 years before Homer. Most Sumerians were farmers, but cities also had craftsmen, merchants, priests, and even the world's first professional soldiers. They invented the wheel, yes, really, the plow, and bronze, mix of copper plus tin. They had beer, lots of beer. It was safer than river water. Women could own property, run businesses, and even become priests. Kids went to school, the world's first schools. Boys learned to write on clay tablets. Girls usually learned at home. Later, around 2100 BC, a king named Ur-Nammu created one of the first written law codes. A few generations after that, the famous king Hammurabi of Babylon, who spoke the Sumerian language too, made his own super-famous law code with 282 laws. If a man breaks another man's bone, they shall break his bone. Eye for an eye. That idea started here. After about 2000 BC, things got difficult. The rivers changed course, fields became too salty, and new peoples arrived: Akkadians, Amorites, and later Assyrians and Babylonians. But here's the crazy thing. They didn't destroy Sumerian culture. They kept speaking the language in temples, kept copying the old stories, kept using cuneiform for another 2,000 years. It's like if we still wrote everything in Latin today. So the Sumerians gave us cities, writing, laws, literature, and basically the foundation of everything we call civilization. But their story doesn't end quietly. Very soon, a man from the north, a cupbearer who became the greatest conqueror of his age, would take all the Sumerian cities under one rule for the very first time. His name was Sargon, and he created the world's first empire, the Akkadian Empire. If this journey to the dawn of history blew your mind, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because next time we're diving straight into the rise of Sargon the Great and the Akkadian Empire, the first empire in human history. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.